The Chicago Bears released their unofficial depth charts heading into week 1 against the Minnesota Vikings, and I've got my top 5 takeaways. Welcome into Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Of course, the Bears play against the Vikings at Soldier Field in 4 days on Monday Night Football, which is a perfect reminder to join us for our next 2 live shows. Later today, 4 o'clock Central Time, and of course on Monday night for our live Week 1 watch party. Don't know exactly when we'll go live, 6 at the latest. Might even go a little earlier because I'm going to be juiced up for that game. So be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications so you know exactly when we go live on the channel. Okay, let's get to my 5 biggest takeaways. The second round of rookies, not great. Now remember, these are unofficial depth charts. I don't think we should overvalue them, but I don't think they're nothing burgers either. A couple of takeaways. Luther Burden listed as wide receiver 5. More on that in a second. Ozzie Trapillo listed as the backup right tackle. We've kind of known that for a couple of weeks now. And Shamar Turner is listed as the last defensive tackle, your 5th defensive tackle on the team behind, obviously, Grady Jarrett, Javon Dexter, Andrew Billings, and Chris Williams. Now, I don't think anyone believes Devin Duvernay is actually ahead of Burden. Maybe it's more just like the position each of them play at receiver, because every wide receiver position is different. Like, they cut Devin Duvernay briefly, then brought him back because they had to do some roster shuffling. Like, I don't think anyone thinks he's going to outsnap Burden on offense, but Burden is wide receiver 4. I'm not as worried about that one because the top 3 are obviously so good, and Zacchaeus has had a great camp, but still, second-round pick in Luther Burden. Trapillo not being able to win the left tackle job, not the end of the world, but long-term you do wonder what his role is. And then obviously Shamar Turner missed all of camp with an injury, basically, so unclear what he's going to be able to provide. I just think this is something to watch big picture, because second-round picks in most cases should be starters. At the worst case, should be high-level contributors. Ozzie Trapillo may not play at all this year. That Shamar Turner, I would guess week 1 he's inactive. I don't think all 5 defensive tackles will be active week 1. He'll probably be one of your inactive players. And Luther Burden, I think he'll have a role, but it probably will be a relatively minimal one, at least to start the year. So, like, keep an eye on this as time progresses, because you drafted 3 players in the second round and none of them are starters week 1. That's not great. Okay, reaction number 2, takeaway number 2, Tyrique Stevenson. I don't think this has been verbalized, but it feels pretty clear that he is your number 2 outside corner opposite of Jaylon Johnson. He was listed as a starter. Nashawn Wright was listed as a backup. I think the way Wright played in that final preseason game kind of solidified that. He just did not play that well. He had a bad penalty. He got beat deep by Tyquan Thornton. I just think Tyrique was a little bit more consistent overall. Now, obviously, if Jalen's out, Nashawn Wright's going to start as well. Hopefully, Jaylon can go on Monday night. He was back at practice yesterday. But it does appear that Stevenson won that battle. And it sounded like in the practices, it was pretty close. And in some cases, Wright actually performed better. But in the games, I thought Tyrique clearly played better. So, if it's kind of a tiebreaker situation, A, Tyrique's the incumbent. B, he played better in the game. So I think you had to give him the nod there. Will Tyrique Stevenson bounce back this year? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I've been buying his stock this offseason. Obviously, it's a big year for him to prove not only he can be a starter in this league, but he can be a part of this team's future. It's year 3, so we'll see if he's able to do it. Today's show is sponsored by the Hall of Fame app. Check out the HOF app today, because football is back, and I don't know about you, but there's nothing worse than barely losing on a multi-team parlay. It happened to me a couple of weeks ago in week 0 of the college football season, but now with the HOF app, I had a much better week 1 in college football, and now with the NFL here, I'm expecting to cash in even more. Smart bettors rely on data, and the HOF app hands you powerful analytics at your fingertips to tilt the odds in your favor. HOF is your go-to for building smarter parlays. No more missing by one leg, as HOF gives you all the probabilities and insights you need to succeed. The HOF app was created by Ivy League sports geeks to let everyday sports fans bet smarter. With a 4.9 rating in the App Store on over 7,000 reviews, it's safe to say the 1 million total users and counting are benefiting from the HOF app. So don't waste any time. For a limited time only, our listeners not only get a 7-day free trial, but they also get 50% off their first month when they use the code CHAT, C-H-A-T, at checkout. Just download the HOF app on iOS or Android, enter code CHAT, and you are all good to go. We'll have a link in the comments and description. That way you guys can click it and download the app today. Use code chat, 50% off. Take advantage. All right. Roschon Johnson listed as RB2. Now, kind of like the Luther Burden thing, I'm taking this a little bit with a grain of salt. If both he and Monangai are healthy, I think they're just going to have different roles. So I don't really think it's that big of a deal. Number one, Roschon doesn't seem to be healthy. He did not practice yesterday. And number two, I think Roschon's role when he's healthy is going to be that short yardage goal line back. He's been out for weeks. I think Kyle Monangai, who was back at practice yesterday, will be more of that second back, to give DeAndre Swift a breather, whereas Roschon will have a role in short yardage. So I expect Monangai to be the true RB2. I think both guys will have roles when they're both healthy. Hopefully Roschon's back soon, but I don't think that's anything to kind of get caught up in. I think both guys will play. Okay, Nick McCloud, a couple of, minor ones here. Listed as the backup nickel over Josh Blackwell, who once again did not practice yesterday, so not sure if he's going to be ready for week one. Obviously, McCloud, kind of a versatile DB. He can play on special teams as well. He was one of the camp surprises to make this roster, but it appears he's first in line after Kyler Gordon. Blackwell listed behind him. Now, we know Blackwell's role is primarily as a special teamer. McCloud can play a little outside corner in a pinch as well. I do wonder, is this because Blackwell's been injured or not? Is McCloud just the better option in their eyes? He certainly played a decent amount of ball over the last several years. He's with the Giants for a bit, San Francisco. He's bounced around the league a little bit. Blackwell's played a little bit here and there as well. Certainly better on special teams than he is as a defensive back. And then lastly, Kiran Amegadjie, who, I don't think they're punting on him as a tackle, but they're starting to work him in at guard, which is something I've been begging them to do really since last year. They listed him as the backup right guard. Now, we've seen him get reps at left guard. Obviously, he was in that left tackle competition for a little bit, but I'm just glad that he's getting some reps inside. And listen, if you're going to keep him on the team, you got to see what else he can do, because he fell behind in that tackle competition. So you got to see if he can play inside, because if you're going to keep a 9th, 10th offensive lineman, which is kind of in that range of where he's at, you got to have some versatility. You got to offer something more than just you're a developmental third-string left tackle. So they're getting him work inside. Ryan Pohl's initial takeaway was that he looks pretty comfortable there. He's built like a tackle with how long his arms are and everything, but I don't know if his feet are quick enough to play tackle in the NFL. He's got power, so maybe guard is a better position for him. All right, what is your biggest takeaway from the week one depth charts? Give us your thoughts down in the comments below. Again, for me, it's just I'm keeping an eye on those second-round rookies. Like, you need those guys to develop and turn into something. Don't have to be high-level contributors right away, but if we get to the end of the season and all three of those guys or two of the three didn't do much, that's not great. Like, you need to hit on those draft picks if you're Ryan Poles and this staff. So that's a development that I'm keeping an eye on. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Chicago Bears Now. Subscribe and join us. 4 o'clock Central this afternoon. Myself, producer Cullen, we are back in the saddle, ready to go, getting you guys ready for week one, catching you guys up on all of the latest. So we will bring you that. Until then, bear down.